Hello. Yeah, this is the first video. You guys will get to hear my live voice for once. I must have took 9 tries to do that last video. I mean, I'm pretty shit at live commentary, so that's a great start to the video. But today, I want to discuss a personal experience of mine that's got a lot to do with my depression personally, and that is my dad. Um, I've had a lot of problems with my dad in my life. I'm going to tell you the story about how how my mum met my dad, and all this happened, and how I became depressed from meeting my dad. Um, yeah, the dad situation for me, is one that's kind of really hard to talk about. But I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. It's a topic, and I did say to raise awareness, and there's probably a lot of other people that have got dad, mum issues that they want to get out in the open. So, well, let's get right into the story, I guess. It was 1995, and my mum met my dad in a bar, and there's no point telling you about the relationship they had. And they had me. My dad had left my mum by that point, and he said he didn't want anything to do with me. Basically, he said, "I'll provide for you financially," which we'll get into later in the video. Um, but I don't want to know emotionally or personally, Ryan. And then, he changed his mind and then decided he did, but that, he started coming at times like 12 o'clock at night and stuff, which is nowhere near, good enough to see your baby son or something like that. So my mum deleted his number and moved house to get away from him. And you could say, I mean, some of my close friends have asked me, "Do you hold that against your mum that she did that?" And I'm like, no, because it was the right decision at the end of the day. I mean, you, as a kid, if you're a mum or a dad that's watching this video, you know that if someone's gonna come into your child's life and then not be consistently a father to them, then that's not good enough. It's not good for their well-being. They'll think they have a dad and then they won't, and then they will. But that must have been when I was 2 years of age, and then 13 years later, I was curious and I wanted to find my dad, and yeah, so I found him on Facebook, and we started talking for a good while, and everything was going fine. I mean, I didn't really question anything, but this is where it goes pear-shaped, me and my dad's relationship. The main reason I wanted to speak to my dad is because I didn't know who he was. If you'd shown me a picture of him, I wouldn't know who he was, because I just grew up thinking, oh, I didn't have a dad, didn't really think much of it. And yeah, I wanted answers. I wanted answers because, I've got a lot, to ask. I didn't know. I mean, I think everyone has their own personal identity, and they need to put their jigsaw of their life together by, their parents' job to, how they got here, and, you know, explain stuff to them. And then I asked this to my dad, and, yeah, this is where it goes bad, because he wouldn't tell me. If no one knows my dad, and I'm not going to give away his name for confidential reasons, but my dad is one of the most stubborn people that you'll meet. If he doesn't get his own way, he doesn't like it. And I know some of my good friends will be like, "Oh, touche, Ryan, that's exactly like you." But, he would refuse to tell me anything. I wouldn't get anything out of him, really. Yeah, it's a hard situation for me to talk about, but, I am going to get through it. Um, yeah, so I continued to speak to my dad for, I don't know why I call him my dad. It should be biological father. But yeah, I continue to speak to him, and I've met him once since I was 15, and I'm 17 now. So it's been a year and a half since I've met him face to face. I mean, I still talk to him now and again, but sometimes I just really don't see the point. It's like battering down a brick wall yet again. Touche, because I'm quite like that as well. If you know me well enough, you'll know I'm quite like that. Um, but yeah, I think my dad just he said to me when I first met him, you know, uh, I wasn't ready for a son and stuff like that. But I was like, you've had kids already before me. I don't see the difference between having a son and a daughter. I don't know if there's any difference. I mean, there is differences, but I don't see like someone's like you're kind of being King Henry VIII there. Oh my gosh, I can't have a fucking girl. I want a boy. You know, kind of like that. I think that was a shit impression of King Henry, by the way. Um. Yeah. So yeah, I've spoke to my dad a long period of time, and I would say he said some nasty things to me. Probably just because I've bombarded him with messages and questions and stuff like that. You know, it's um yeah, but like some of the stuff that he said to me, I'll probably never forgive him for. But there's a bond there. There is a bond there. I still want to know my dad. You know, I kind of feel like it's my right as a human being to know both my parents. And my dad only does live in Elgin, so you know it's not too far away. And yeah, yeah, this is a really hard topic. Um, but yeah, my dad has four other daughters. Yet again, I will not mention their names because of confidential reasons and all that. There's two twin sisters, and there's two sisters that live down in London. I don't get to see any of them. I spoke to the two twins for a period of time once in last Christmas, and then he stopped that, and yeah, he just doesn't want me to have any kind of part of his life, and you know that really does contribute to my depression. I feel depressed. You know, sometimes I think to myself, oh, you know, am I not a good enough son for him? And yeah, you know, yeah, it really is a personal topic, but you know, I've got to get through it. You know, it's still, you know, even though all this stuff that he's done in that, like leaving me, not providing my mum with financial support, which he promised that he would if you listened earlier in the video. Um, you know, my mum had to work two jobs when I was little, so I guess in that way he's affected my relationship with my mum a bit. Um, you know, yeah, it's I don't like people that do that. Like they don't use contraception. Like he blamed my mum. He blamed my mum when I first met him. He was like, "Oh, he's Cockney, by the way, so I'll try and do it in his voice." Yeah, Ryan, I think it's your mum's fault that she didn't use birth control. And I was like, "Who the fuck do you think you are?" I mean, were condoms £30 per packet in 1996 or 1995? Sorry. You know, I mean, seriously. I mean, I just hate people with that mentality. I'll have a kid with someone and then I'll get them to abort it, or I'll not pay for them and I'll let the mum bring it up. I mean, I don't know about anyone else, but that just pisses me off down to the bone. Oh wow, they're halfway through the video already. Um, yeah, so I don't get to see my sisters. I hope one day that I will. You know, the two twins are not 16, so by legal law he can stop me from seeing them, which I think is absolute bullshit. Sorry, I just need to cough. Um, yeah, leave down in the comment section if you know me and you've had one of these, uh, or you're just a random person that's just clicked on this video. If you've had a problem with a family member, you know, like a dad or your mum that you've never met before, and then they're kind of being awkward about it, not letting you, you know, see them and stuff. You know, I mean, he's deprived me of a whole family that I have never seen. You know, I've got a grandma and granda I've never seen in my life. I've got cousins, uncles, the two sisters in London, obviously. Um, and he only lives in Elgin, so it's not like, oh, he's so far away and stuff like that. And, you know, I use that phrase, he feels so close but yet so far away. You know, it's that kind of situation. And, yeah, he doesn't. I guess one of the reasons he doesn't like to talk to me is because when I started talking to him, I was really depressed. I've suffered with depression since I was 12 years of age, which I said in the introduction video, and I've tried. This is another personal thing, but I'll go into it in another video about that. But yeah, I think you know people that they have kids and then they don't step up to the mark are just cowards. It's as simple as that. You know. I don't see why they just can't use contraception. I mean, it's very selfish that they use that excuse. Oh, it was the other person that didn't use it. You know, at the end of the day, maybe they wanted the baby, you know? Um, I'm kind of feeling awkward doing this video, not just because it's a personal topic, but I speak to this with a lot of my friends, and they'll be like, "Oh, he's going on about his dad again, Christ." But yeah, it is a big reason, a big, thing that has gone on in my life and has contributed to me feeling down. And, I try to discuss it with him sometimes, but he just doesn't seem to get it. I mean, yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think of other things to say about him that contributed. Just acceptance. I think that's one of the biggest things for me. Is I feel like I'm a failure to him. As a son. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, if we go grassroots into why he's not that, I guess. But I've kind of always been self-conscious and stuff, so I always think that. My dad's he's a very very he's like a chameleon, I say, because he goes from place to place, and I never really see him. I never can put a name to a face. And he always used to say, "Oh, you don't know me, Ryan. You can't say that about me." And I was like, "Well, yeah, but I'd never get the chance to. I never get the chance to meet you or to know what you're like or to speak to you or it's I think if anyone's had dad issues, and thinks it's their fault like I did in the past and stuff, it's not. These people are selfish, if we're going to be honest, brutally honest about it. These people are selfish, they are cowards, they're most likely feeling guilty, They're yeah, they're just it's really hard for me to talk about this. I mean, it's the first time I've actually talked to a group of people about this, but yeah, I mean, I'm trying to get as much information out as I can. If you, I think I've already said this, but if you've had father issues, put down in the comment section. I'll link my Facebook in the link if you want to mail me, because at the end of the day, it's all about confidentiality. If you don't want to come out and speak about it in public, then that's fine. But yeah, it's a big thing that's contributed to my depression personally. I've sat and cried at night because I'm not ashamed to admit that, because I didn't feel like I was good enough for my dad. Just is it there's a lot of things that teenagers deal with, you know, in their looks and that and stuff already without thinking they're a failure to their own parent. But uh, yeah, it's you know dads. I mean, I'm not saying this because women, sorry, can be like this as well, but men seem to have some kind of thing where they just don't have there's a majority. If you go to statistics, there's more men that have left their kids than women have. Fair enough. People that leave their kids when they're men are usually when the baby is inside them, and the mother can't really do that. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a big thing that contributes to depression if you've got problems in your family life. It's a massive thing to happen. I mean, it was a massive thing when I found my dad and found out he was only living in Elgin because I thought he was living in London. You know, I've got a minute and a half left of this video. I'm sorry if I've not put in enough detail on the video, and it's bad quality. Again, I apologise for that. I will sort that out because I have my microphone at another place, and I'll go get it soon. But yeah, it doesn't just affect you; it affects your family. If you go on about it, you moan about it. Your mum, if you've had a dad that's left you, your mum ends up having to work more and stuff because they don't pay child support. And yeah, I mean, I think these. I mean, it just amazes me how they have no conscience. They have no, like, oh, that person's went through this and I've not got to see his first steps, his first words, their first steps. I've not been able to help out with some of the problems in their life, and it gets to me. It does get to me. It's a hard issue for me to talk about. Got 25 seconds left before I have to do the outro. But yeah, I mean, that's a bit about my situation with my dad. Coming up to the outro, right? Okay. If please like this video, guys. If you've enjoyed this, I'm sorry that I haven't managed to get as much information as I probably would have liked in the video. But I am on a time scale, so I can't really help it. I'll elaborate on it in other videos, I'm sure, about my dad and stuff like that. But anyway, please, if you like these videos, please like and subscribe. Mail me on Facebook, I'll leave that in the description. And don't forget, by the way, before I go, I realise that I can't claim YouTube money. I'm sorry, that was a retard moment on my behalf. But if you could, I'm not saying you have to, if you could check out Paripus, I left the link in the introduction video, but I'll put it in this one as well. If you could go and even make a donation of £1, that would just be brilliant. I mean, I'm donating £10 at the end of this, marathon of videos that I'm doing. But yeah, that would be really cool. And like I said, I'll link Facebook and all that if you want to get in contact with me. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you for the next one. Peace.